Retro Ghetto.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto for what is something quite different today. It's going to be a bit more of a raw video. It's going to be one man and a camera because I've got quite a lot of stuff that I want to say. Primarily what I'm going to be doing is looking at the current state of video game collecting, primarily here in the UK in 2022. There's a couple of things recently I want to talk about in terms of charity shops, an issue that I got with CEX, and also maybe something I need to hold my hands up for. Also, we're going to be doing a lot of an update. I'm going to be giving you guys an update as to my habits, my collecting habits, because things have changed. Also, an update on the 3.0, where I'm at, why it's taking so long. And then lastly, I'm going to be getting into quite a big channel update, and I'm going to be discussing how things are going to change with the Retro Ghetto moving forwards. But yeah, let's get into it.
Retro Ghetto.
Okay, so collecting video games in 2022 here in the UK. And now a lot of this may apply to elsewhere in the world, but obviously I can only speak on my own experiences of game hunting here in the UK. Now, I'm a massive advocate of hunting for video games in charity shops. I've made numerous videos of some amazing finds that I've had in charity shops. And I always say, look, the more you're in it, the more chance you've got of winning it. And I completely live by that. I'm still out pretty much every single day. I've slowed down a little bit because I'm hard at work on the Retro Ghetto 3.0, but I still say probably 5 or 6 days of the week I'm looking in charity shops for video games. Obviously it helps if you do have some local to where you live, or if you've got good relationships with them and you've got access to the back room, etc. But that's for another video, because I am going to be putting out a video with 10 tips to help you get video games from charity shops. So look out for that coming down the line. That's something that I'm still penning to make sure that I'm giving you guys the best pointers possible. But anyway, I am digressing. The reason that I wanted to bring it up is I definitely feel, even though I'm an advocate for it, there has been a shift. For a few weeks I was noticing that everyone has dry spells, and I think I actually recorded it on camera once when I was out doing the Xbox 360 giveaway video, where a woman said to me that head office had told her, and this was British Heart Foundation charity shop, she'd had a memo for head office that they're no longer to sell video games on the floor and they then have to put them all online.
Just more money for them, or?
I think head office come up with these ideas to see whether it works or not.
That is a shame, because I'm always happy to give,
I know
you know, the same equivalent
I know
amount.
you are.
But yeah, okay, darling.
They probably will come back down, it's just not at the moment.
We'll keep popping in then if it
Yeah,
changes,
that's
all right.
absolutely fine. Please do so. Sorry.
Right, so I'm not sure how much of that we got caught on camera, but it's quite interesting. That's been quite a profitable charity shop for me. I found quite a few nice games in there. It's actually the one where I found my Mega Drive games. And she was saying that they've had to take them off the shelves. They're no longer allowed to stock video games, and they're all going on eBay, which sadly looks like it's a sign of the times.
And I thought that could be the start of a trend, and I think that was the case. I think I spoke to somebody also at PDSA, which obviously is like a pet charity that have a series of stores throughout the UK as well, and they also said the same thing. So I feel like we really have sort of fell off the other side, where charity shops are becoming more and more wise to the money that is in video games, and therefore are putting them on eBay. I'm not going to sit here and say whether that's right or wrong, because as a collector, obviously you want to find the video games, right? The charity obviously wants to make as much money as possible for their charity, and they're not always going to get it right. They're not going to be experts, so sometimes you'll walk in and you'll think, well, why didn't you just sell me that copy of Modern Warfare 2 for £3, right? It's not worth much more. Why put it on eBay? But you can't get too far into the schematics, certainly not on this video, because obviously I'm not expecting every person that works in a charity shop to be a video game expert. It comes from a head office. It is what it is. I just think we're getting to that point now where it's getting harder and harder to find video games of any worth. And by any worth, what I mean is, what my ultimate goal is to find a game that I don't own, that I'm excited to play, and that I can add to my shelf. That seems to be happening less and less to me. I mean, it doesn't happen infrequently. I mean, only like last week I put out a video where I found a copy of Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1. It's just happening less and less. I am still a firm believer that you can find enough games that you can then trade into CEX. It depends on your profit margins. Personally, and again I'll go into this further detail on my charity shop videos, personally, if I can sort of do 50%, I'll do it. So if I can buy a game for £1.50 and there's a trade-in at CEX value of £3, they're the sort of, that's my bread and butter, that's what I live on. And if I can do 10 of them a week, you can make yourself a nice bit of CEX voucher with spending, as I say, half the money. So that's kind of the rule I go by, sort of 50%. But again, obviously, as the numbers go up, the margins change. Would you spend 20 quid to make £10? Again, I suppose it depends on where you're at financially and if there's anything specific. If I'm on my way to CEX to buy something, then it makes sense for me to pick up anything that I can trade in against them, because that's obviously going to save me money in the very short term. But what I want to do is put it out to you guys. Have you guys noticed any changes within charity shops? Is it just those two, or do you know of any other chains that have also stopped selling video games on the shop floor? I do think we're heading towards that time where it's probably only going to be lesser stores and more independent stores that are selling video games. More and more charity shops are wising up to it and are putting either games out at sometimes an inflated price, or they're going straight to eBay and they're not even seeing the shop floor at all. So again, it's just something I've noticed, and after speaking to a couple of staff members at charity shops, I've had it confirmed. But I want to know exactly what you guys have been experiencing recently with finding video games in charity shops.
Retro Ghetto.
Okay, moving on. And what for me as a collector and a hunter goes hand in hand with charity shops is, as I've said, CEX. Now, whether you like CEX, you loathe CEX, you're sick of seeing videos about CEX, it's not going away anytime soon. It's a huge part of the video game collecting scene here in the UK, and I utilise it as much as anybody else. My issue right now, and if I'm being honest, it's pissing me off, is what's going on with the manuals at CEX. It's come more and more to the forefront due to the sort of popularity and the surge in CEX roulette or lottery videos. I mean, I enjoy watching them. I've done a couple myself recently. I really enjoy filming it, and judging by the reaction, you guys enjoy watching it as well. But what does seem to be getting rammed home more and more from the videos that I watch is that there's less and less manuals coming with primarily retro video games from CEX when you order via the app or online. And this is where I have to hold my hands up and take some partial responsibility for this issue. I'm not egotistical or naive enough to think that one man has made such a huge impact that all these games that don't have a manual are down to me and my small channel. But I do think that I have had a small part to play. And the reason I say that is because I made a video way back when I first started my channel 2 years ago now, called 10 Ways to Beat CEX. In that video, one of the 10 reasons I gave was that you can trade in specifically retro titles. You can take them to CEX and they'll give you the same amount regardless of whether there's a manual. So if it's a high-end game, you might as well sell your money on eBay to maximize your profit. Do I stand by that statement 2 years later? Yes, I do, because that video was made purely from the point of view of maximizing your profit, how to beat CEX, the clues in the title, right? And I stand by the fact that in doing so, you get more bang for your buck. You can potentially earn more money by doing that. The question I think would be to put to myself is, would I say it again now? Would I do that video again in the same way now? No. And to answer that video, I think we've got to go way back. To answer that point, sorry, I think we've got to go way back. You've got to remember, I didn't just start my channel. I was very naive to the YouTube game. I made this video. It was incomprehensible to me, inconceivable that that video would go on to have 17,000 views. If there's any small or new YouTubers watching, I'm sure you don't make videos thinking this is going to have 17,000 views in 2 years' time. I didn't anticipate that that would be the case. I certainly didn't expect it to have any sort of real impact on the stock levels that do go through to CEX. But not only that, my relationship with CEX has changed hugely in the last 2 years. At that point, I was just your average Joe that went into a CEX every now and again. I wasn't doing as much trading with them in terms of my charity shop, and I didn't have the personal relationship that I have with some of the staff members. So my personal feelings towards CEX have changed hugely in those 2 years. I sort of bought into this whole meme culture and all the jokes you see online about CEX and their employees, and yeah, it was just sort of like the stereotypical CEX employee in the stereotypical CEX store. And I probably bought into that a little bit too much, because my actual reality of all the staff that I've gone on to have great relationships with is, and I'm in no way, shape or form affiliated with CEX. I know a lot of people say in the comment section that I should be on some sort of commission with them or whatever. Hey, listen, if they want to give me some money, get in my emails, right? I don't know what that was. I'm not old school, that's not an email. But yeah, anyway, I digress again. But yeah, my point being, all the relationships that I've forged on just a natural basis of being in CEX stores a lot, both with the staff at the floor level, managers and area managers that I see coming in the store because I'm there so regularly, are all fantastic. All the people that I've met have been largely brilliant, and I've got a good personal relationship with them. So my attitude towards CEX has definitely changed. So maybe I wouldn't have made that video in the same way in 2022. But with all that being said, I have to be a man of my convictions and stand by what I said, because it was truth. That was the truth. It is a way that you can beat CEX. And I don't morally hold it against anybody that is taking manuals out of a game now. So if you take a manual out of the game today and you take that retro game to CEX and they bat off you and you then sell that manual for 30, 40, 50, 60 pound, whatever it may be online, I can't knock that. My point is CEX need to do something about it. We live in hard times, right? People struggling to pay energy bills. You can't be mad at people for making a little bit of extra money. Whilst it might piss you off as a collector because you want the manual, you can't be mad at that individual. It's down to CEX to stop it. I made a video a while back talking about how CEX can change certain things, and I stand by that video. I think it's one of the best videos I've made. I think it's quite a balanced argument. The link will be in the description below if you do want to go and watch that. But I think I basically just went along the lines of saying that CEX have got to implement a procedure whereby they give you less value for some of these retro games if you're taking them in without a manual. But what they have to do is make you aware when you're buying it whether it's got a manual or not. You can't continue with this merry-go-round of sending things out, taking it back, and it just going through the same collector's hands over and over again and going around in circles. At some point, something has to change. It's frustrating for everybody. So yeah, I mean, I know that at one point it looked like they were introducing like a little M, I think it was, on the app where you could see if it had a manual, but it's too few and far between. Also, I want to highlight the fact that a few people have said in comment sections, it's not hard, just buy Mint, you know what you're going to get with Mint. You're going to get a manual, you don't get a manual with anything else. That's not the case. If you walk into any CEX store in the country, you will find video games, go to the retro, have a look, you will find manuals in there. They will not be listed as Mint. So there are manuals in these boxes, hence lottery, hence roulette. You just don't know what it is that you're going to get inside it. My big issue with Mint is that they don't do enough. There's not enough Mint on there. And Mint, whilst again, this is for another video, if we're going to go by the definition of what the word mint is, i.e. mint, it can't be any better. By the time it gets through the postal service to you, the chances of that game still being mint are relatively, let's just say, slim. So I think they should do away with mint altogether. It should just be complete or non-complete. But they've got to start doing more. CEX, step your game up, do something about it because it's getting beyond a joke.
Retro Ghetto.
Right, so charity shops and CEX aside, that nicely takes me on to my personal collecting and why things have changed for me. Obviously, you guys have been along for the journey with me. I've now got my room, a Retro Ghetto 3.0. But guys, I've got to change my buying habits. I think this past couple of years, I've just been buying knowing that ultimately I was going to build this room. And I'm one of them people that if I think something's cool or that I like it, and more importantly, I can get it for a good price or a bargain or find a way to lower the price or a cheeky best offer on eBay, I buy it, right? And if it's a bargain, I struggle to say no if it's something that I'm interested in. And I just kept stacking it all away, various storage units, relatives' houses, right? The Retro Ghetto 2.5, you could barely move in there. And I just kept buying and buying and buying and buying. And I feel like now I'm in this room, I can't fit everything in if I want this room to be a nice room. And that is paramount to me. This room's got to be a nice place to be in. I don't want it to just be like a hoarded cave where you can't move because you're surrounded by stuff, which ultimately can affect not only the comfort but like the playability. I've done it before, I've made mistakes in games rooms before where I put my collecting ahead of actually using the room and I couldn't recline my chair because there was stuff behind it, or I had to like squeeze my way past things to move around the room. It doesn't make it a nice environment to be in. So I'm not going to allow myself to do that. So yeah, ultimately the way that I buy things has got to change. With regards to this room, what I've been doing is I've put in the things that I love, and then the things that I like are sort of playing second fiddle. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I like that I can't get in this room, so I will be selling a lot of stuff down the line. And we're talking big stuff, kiosks, life-size figures, a lot of things. Obviously you guys will see what is in here and what isn't in here once the full room tour goes ahead. But in terms of my buying right now, of course I'm still buying. Thankfully, I'm not ungrateful, right? I've not got a small room, but equally, I don't know what. I kept buying thinking I had like this TARDIS that one day I was going to, oh yeah, I'm going to one day put it all in this room. I felt like, I don't know, maybe I must have thought I was going to have like a football stadium or something to put all this stuff in, I don't know. But obviously the reality is there's only so much stuff you can get in a room and still have it a nice, habitable place to be and enjoy spending your time in. So going forwards, I'm still going to be buying. I'm just going to be a lot more conscious of what I buy. I only want to buy things that I love. It might be a case of one in, one out with certain toys, certain figures, certain standees. So again, I'm going to be a lot more concise with what I'm buying. Thankfully, I'm not short of space. I don't have to worry about games, so I'm still buying video games. I'm not at a point where I can't put another game on the shelf, thankfully, so that's not an issue. I'm still buying video games, and you'll see that on my next pickups video, which will be coming relatively soon. But yeah, definitely going forwards, I'm going to be a lot more conscious of buying things that I love, not things that I like. And I think ultimately, that is a place that I'm happy to have reached, just as a balance, right? I mean, whilst I enjoy hunting and I enjoy buying things, you can't just keep hoarding things forever unless you've got a shop or a way, like an outlet to get rid of some of the stuff. It's just not something that can go on forever, and I'm very, very comfortable and easy with that. I'm happy that this is my space going forwards. As much as maybe, you know, there's a little bit in the back of my mind that thinks we could do a Retro Ghetto 3.5 a few years down the line and extend a little bit more. Somebody joked that I was going to build an underground bunker, and even that got me thinking, but or a second story. But anyway, if my missus is watching this, I'll be in the doghouse if I even mention anything like that. So yeah, this is my space. I'm very happy with it, but it is definitely going to influence the way that I buy things going forward.
Retro Ghetto.
And that segues nicely into the 3.0 and what's going on. Where is it? Where's the room tour? And basically, where am I at with getting it finished? Well, I think if you was to walk into this room now, you wouldn't think there was too much to do. All the games are in. So all my video games are in, apart from a few collector's editions which are still knocking about. Toys is a sticking issue. I'm looking down here, there's boxes and boxes of toys. I don't know where they're all going. They're not all going to go in this room. The problem with toys is it's not like games where you can just put them neatly on a shelf and they all look uniform and nice. If you just chuck a load of toys in one space, it can look a bit messy and they can get hidden behind each other. It's a lot harder to display toys than it is video games, especially to the standard that I want them to be at. I want this room to be clean and neat, and just a beautiful way of displaying things. And the standards are set very high in my own mind. So just having loads of toys on a shelf that are all random and different sizes, I don't know. It's not something that I'm getting on with right now. But I will find a way, obviously, to get my most important toys. I've got my Street Fighter figures that I've got to get a designated space for, or a dedicated space for. That's my pride and joy in terms of my toy collection. So that's something that I need to work on. But otherwise, everything's in. The video games are all in. All the consoles are set up. I'm at a point where I can press a button and any video game will come up on the television of choice. But there's still a few things that I need to buy. I'm still waiting on a few cables, a few wires, because certain cables and wires that come standard with the consoles aren't quite long enough. I don't want to have multiple wires hanging off the television. I want to be able to hide it all in one nice piece of trunking. So yeah, I've had to buy quite a few cable extensions. There's a few different things I've had to buy where I've gone from like RGB to composite and all that kind of boring stuff that takes time and takes money. So that's where I'm at with getting everything set up in terms of like my video games, consoles and all that kind of stuff. I still need to get blinds on the curtain. That's proving difficult because it's such a funny shaped window and I don't just want to have a standard roller blind. I wanted to have one that's like built into the window, but it's all boring stuff. But ultimately, there's a lot of it on the face of it that's done, but in reality it's not done. A lot of the things that are done, even the shelves that are full, I want to secure them against the wall. I want to put some backing so that stops the game from being pushed back. There's a lot of things that I will be discussing with you guys going forwards, but yeah, I'm not rushing. Like I think somebody said in the comment section, like my last video, about is it taking so long because of this or because of that? But it's not. I don't see it as it's taking too long. I'm enjoying the process. I'm also enjoying this room. So I might come in here, I might do a couple of hours of pottering around the room. My missus calls it flitting and faffing, where I come in here, I may or may not be intoxicated, and I just move stuff around and I get stuff done, but then I also want to sit down and play my games, right? And that's one of the beauties of even the SNES wall that you see behind me. Having all this artwork on show, it's invigorated my desire to play some of these games because I can see them again now. They're not just stuck hidden on a shelf. The other day I picked up Donkey Kong Country 2. I thought, you know, I've never actually completed Diddy Kong. I need to pick that up and get through it. So I picked it up and I'm playing that and various other games as well. It's just nice to be able to see it and really utilise and enjoy the room for what it is and playing my games. So yeah, I'm in no rush to get the room done. I'm enjoying the process. I want it to be perfect, and as soon as the game room tour's out, then you'll know it's somewhat done. But I mean, let's be honest, a game room is never really done, is it?
Retro Ghetto.
Right, I think I'm in danger of having waffled on enough in this video, but what I wanted to do is give you guys a quick channel update and some ideas of what I've got going forward. So obviously we documented the build of the Retro Ghetto 3.0 from the ground up, and we did a series of vlogs for the whole building process, and then I also vlogged the process of building the SNES wall. I really enjoyed putting those together, and from the reception that I received, I know you guys enjoyed watching them as well. What I plan to do going forward is to continue with the vlogs. So nothing's going to change in terms of I still want to be giving you guys a Wednesday mainline video, whatever it may be, something that I feel relevant or something I feel passionate enough about to make a video on my Wednesday mainline Retro Ghetto video. But what I will probably start doing moving forwards is on a Sunday morning. I'm going to be giving you just a live vlog, and every week you're going to be seeing the week prior, what I've been doing. I'm not talking about my personal life. I'm not going to be in the house talking to my family, but I'm talking about what goes on in this room. What happens in this room, used to stay in this room, and now it's going to be between us, because I'm going to be sort of vlogging everything I'm doing. Like I just said, the game room's never finished, so all the rearranging, the games room Tetris, that stuff's going to be on the vlog. Video games that I'm playing, top scores I'm trying to beat, new additions that come into the room, even things like the CEX lotteries that I've been doing, they'll probably be incorporated into those vlogs as well. As I say, I just really enjoyed doing the vlog style videos, and it's just a way of me getting more content out for you guys going forwards, which is what ultimately I hope to do. So going forwards, I don't know exactly when it's going to start, maybe a couple of weeks from now, because I'm very, very busy still right now, is we will have a mainline Wednesday video, and then on a Sunday, we're going to try and get a vlog out, which is just going to be a week in the life at the Retro Ghetto 3.0 basically. So yeah, again, I'm eager to hear everyone's comments on that, and what you think, and whether it's something that you look forward to watching. But yeah, this video, I know it's been something very different. One man on the camera, two cameras, waffling on, but I just had a few things that I wanted to get off my chest, a few things that I wanted to say. And now I'm in the Ghetto 3.0, it's so much easier for me to start recording because I don't have a 4-year-old running around. I've got a door, because this is like a separate building from the house. I can easily come in here and record any time of the day or night without, little man going crazy. So, nothing really left to say other than thank you for your continued support. Play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.
Retro Ghetto.